Hi everyone, my name is Ray and welcome to another episode of Straight Edge Tiki. Today I am in Finney Ridge, which is a neighborhood that's north of me, at a place called Tiki and Dry, which is a non-alcoholic bottle shop that I discovered a couple months ago. Actually, they were on the news, and I'm like, that's cool. You know, there's a place where you can go where they sell like non-alcoholic spirits, non-alcoholic wine, non-alcoholic beer. And I'm like, cool, I want to give this place some love. And I'm going to, but I was going to film with Kristen, and then I got sick. And then in the meantime, I discovered this gentleman's channel, and oh wow, this guy's filming at Tiki and Dry, and he's making videos about non-alcoholic cocktails. This is Nick. And Nick, what is the name of your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel and Instagram handle is the NA CPA.
Now, what does that mean?
Well, non-alcoholic, and then by day, I'm a CPA.
Oh, so really?
I just mashed it all together. Yeah.
Okay, now it makes...
Yeah, now you're like, oh, people do that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So if someone asks you, like, what do you do for a living? You're like, have you watched my YouTube channel?
Yeah, pretty much. And if they say no, then I say taxes. But I really don't do taxes. I do business valuations. So it's a lot more fun.
It'd be funny if like some of your videos are like making non-alcoholic cocktails, and then other videos are like giving tax advice.
Well, yeah. Or like,
all right, so here's how you can cheat the IRS.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Exactly. Or this bottle costs this much, and blah blah blah. Yeah, I was thinking of throwing a financial component into it, but no one would pay attention.
So what is your channel all about?
Yeah, so really, I kind of think that, or I strongly believe that sober doesn't equal boring. And so I'm just trying to sort of promote that. And whether it's highlighting, non-alcoholic drinks or brands or travel agents that plan sober trips, like anything that is related to the NA space, I just want to do a video on and highlight it, because I believe that whether you're not drinking for a night, a weekend, a lifetime, or anywhere in between, just because you don't drink or there's no alcohol in your cocktail doesn't mean you can't have fun, right?
Yeah.
But the question is, okay, if I'm not having some Jack, if I'm not having, some London Dry Gin, what the heck is there out there? What do I have? And so that's sort of the question, or what I'm trying to solve for in the videos, is just tell the folks the good word on what the different non-alcoholic options are out there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Nick. I mean, like, up until I would say probably it's a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
Maybe even just go back 5 years ago.
That's
it's
right.
like if you're at a bar and you're like, all right, I want to get something non-alcoholic. You're getting grapefruit juice.
Yep.
Soda.
Yep.
Bitters and soda if you're gonna do that, and that's kind of it. I mean, there really wasn't a lot of options.
Well,
there was a duels for the non-alcohol, and
duels,
if you like bad tasting beer.
Well, it's funny you say the duels, because that's sort of when I started not drinking. Right.
Okay.
It was not all of a sudden one day. It was a progression.
Yeah.
But I do remember what the non-alcoholic options were in the beer space then and what they are now. I was at Town and Country the other day, and I looked, and I don't know if they counted me or what, but I looked at the beer section. I said, man, 25% of the beer here is non-alcoholic. It's so crazy, the progression that has come from just 4 or 5 years. And the market is young. The industry is young. Like, the first non-alcoholic bar here in the United States is out of Austin, Texas, and it was only found in I want to say 2017 or 2018. So
really?
The industry itself is really new, and that's why you're seeing a whole bunch of brands and stuff enter the market, and so it's really cool.
So
Nick,
let me ask you a question. Why do you think there has been this sea change?
Sure.
So obviously, if no one was interested in drinking non-alcoholic cocktails, they wouldn't be buying them or ordering them.
Yeah.
What do you think's changing? What do you think's making this more popular?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it's a list of items why there's this interest in non-alcoholic options. I think there are some people who get told by their doctor, hey, alcohol is not it anymore for you, right? Then I think there are some people who had either one or several or a handful of bad experiences with alcohol and decide to stop drinking. Or it's someone who never had alcohol they turn 21 or 22, and they just don't pick up alcohol. And because there are all these different options now, they're more open to it because they have more than Coke or more than like bitters and soda or something to drink. They have all these different, I mean, I'm looking around the store here and it's crazy. We're just surrounded by all these different options, right? In summary, I'd say some of the folks have to give up alcohol. Some of the folks choose to. And then I think it's also being recognized, for better or for worse, by bigger brands, and they are also entering the marketplace, and so they're putting or developing their own brands, and so that's why we're seeing so much of it, and I think it's great all in all.
Yeah, and well, from what I understand, I mean, it seems like your generation, or seems to be just a little bit more intelligent.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Because no, seriously, because what I'm understanding is there is a big thing where like a lot of younger people, they're not really interested in the drinking, and the thing that they said is like, it just makes me feel sick, or it makes me feel dizzy, or it makes me feel whatever, stupid.
Yeah.
And they're like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like, that's what everyone should have been thinking a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the hardest thing is alcohol is so part of our culture.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
To the point where if you're not drinking, immediately people are like, well, why not?
What the hell is wrong with this guy?
What's wrong with well, why not?
This stick in the mud over
you got
here.
a problem.
Right,
and it's just sort of like, like there's like something wrong with you, or there's a reason why you're not drinking, as opposed to like, because it's not good for you.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Nick, I mean, like, so I got sober, I stopped drinking, it's been about a year and 3-4 months.
Yeah, congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. And so what the cool thing is well, maybe here's something. We're in the information age.
Sure.
So I've been like watching tons of videos on YouTube about just how bad alcohol is for you.
Yeah.
Like it's bad for you, like on all counts.
Yeah.
Like it isn't. See, my feeling was like, well, if you drink too much, you're gonna get a headache.
Sure.
You might feel sick. You'll have a hangover. But I thought that's as far as it will go. Not knowing like, no, it can cause like for example, like the thing that got me. Like if you knew me, you would like me compared to all my other Tiki friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was the person who drank the least. I mean, like, say if I was going to go out to a Tiki bar, I would have like 2 drinks, maybe 3, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
But my problem is I'm doing that like 4 nights a week.
That's right. That's the thing. Not just on the weekends.
No.
Off.
I mean, seriously, I was talking to a friend of mine when we were talking about a friend of mine who, seriously, he actually made some of the best cocktails I've ever had.
Yeah.
And he knows how to drink. Like, he could drink me under the table. And he goes, well, what's the longest you've gone without drinking?
Sure.
He's like, a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and I'm like 2 days?
Right. You're thinking in terms of hours or something like that.
No,
yeah,
like,
days.
but
right,
like 2,
right.
like seriously, like 2, maybe 3 days. And then I thought about it more and I'm like, that's been my reality for like over 20 years.
Yeah.
Plus. And what I'm realizing too is like it's like that's the kind of drinking that's actually really bad for you, because you're just constantly having alcohol.
Exactly. You get home from work, your ritual or something is to have a beer, make a drink, something like that. You celebrate, you're going to have some alcohol. Alcohol is part of that equation for whatever reason, right? So I understand, and I was right there with you. Yeah. So
what you were talking about off camera, we were talking about, you want to talk about your significant other?
Yeah.
So what's her story? I mean,
so on the with the question of like, why did you stop drinking, I kind of view it as like a spectrum of like, I decided cold turkey one day, or this very long progression. I'm sort of somewhere in the middle there. And there was a number of influences. So my significant other, she says that she was really good at drinking, and one day decided for herself after some trouble with the law that she needed to stop immediately. And so she was one of those that did cold turkey. And I'm just in awe of that, because that's really tough to do, but she did that. And at that time, I didn't know if that was the answer for me, if I should be completely sober. Well,
but you didn't have. Now, did you have a problem with it at all?
I was 24, 25 at the time, and so the question of did you have a problem Relative to others? No, of course not.
No,
All
no.
my friends and stuff, we were going out, we were doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And like you, I was probably drinking the least, right?
Yeah.
But then if you narrow it down and look at how it got into my everyday or every other day, yeah, you could make an argument that I did have a problem. And then
Yeah.
in my close circle, friends, family, with some folks that I know struggle with their relationship with alcohol. And so combined with my significant other's relationship with alcohol and being non-existent after a certain date, right?
Yeah.
And then also, so unfortunately last February, I lost my dad at the age of 55.
55?
To alcoholism.
Oh my God.
Or complications
Nick, I'm sorry.
from it. Yeah, thank you.
And the crazy thing is I'm 52 going on 53.
Right.
And then when you're your age, you're kind of like, oh yeah, well that's old.
Yeah.
But when you're my age, you're like, oh shit, that's like 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, there's no way 26 would be your midlife crisis is when you should be having one at that. Or say I did the math wrong, but whatever, it's okay. I don't have Excel in front of me. But anyways, so for those are the big two reasons why I kind of thought it would be probably a good idea to stop drinking.
Yeah.
And at first it was hard, but then I started to do things that I actually wanted to do rather than sort of maybe did because I was a little bit numb, right? Buzzed, drunk, fill in the blank. So it's been a journey, but a really good journey. And one of my favorite, we talked about the 5 a.m. Club.
Yeah.
And the author there, his name's Robin Sharma, and one of his quotes, which is one of my favorites, is change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end, right?
Yeah.
And so that's sort of how I would describe my relationship with alcohol when I decided to stop. It was hard at first. I just got home from a hard days at work. What the hell? What drink am I gonna have? Because I don't just want water, right? But I did eventually find that out. Was it challenging or was it messy? Because I did think about what I would do, whiskey and Coke or something like that, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick.
Yeah.
I am a Jack Daniel's apologist.
Yeah.
Seriously, if there's any cocktail that I miss, or like if I could have one, is it Jack and Coke? Mm. And there's just something about Jack Daniel's. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
Well, after this Tennyson right here, you're gonna do some of that.
Cool.
That's what I like to do.
And what's interesting about your story, Nick, is like I'm kicking around the idea about doing this as a topic.
Yeah.
And the topic would be about rock bottom. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because for a lot of people, they have to stop drinking because they reach a rock bottom.
Yep.
Where you're like, something happens. Yeah. And you're like, I got to stop. Yeah. And the interesting thing is, like, do you know Steve-O from Jackass?
Yeah, of course.
So he's sober, and he actually, I watched an interview, and he's actually a really, really big inspiration for me and probably for a lot of other people. But he was talking about, like, he goes, I'm glad that I had like a problem with drinking, that he could realize, like, okay, this needs to stop. He goes, the reason why I said that is because a lot of people, they don't necessarily have problem with it, right? You're waking up, you're going to work, you're paying the bills. If you have kids, you're putting food on their plates. There's no problem.
Exactly.
So when you're that, but if you're drinking all the time, you're kind of like, where's the problem here? Or like even with myself, you know, like I would drink. I mean, like there was a lot of times where like I'd start feeling, like I feel like, oh man, I'm a
little harder to do.
But my rock bottom was I got to a point where I started dealing with really, really bad insomnia, where I couldn't sleep.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Brought on by anxiety, brought on by the alcohol and all this other shit. Yeah. And so that was my rock bottom. Yeah. And I think about like what. All right. Well, what does your rock bottom need to be for you to stop? But the reason why I bring that up is you're in a situation where, your significant other, she's like, problems with the law. Okay. Yep. This is over. Yep. But you don't necessarily need to stop drinking. Right. Exactly. So I admire someone that's in your shoes. Yeah. To be like, you really could go either way. Yeah. But you choose not to. Yeah. And I think that's more respective in my book that you're like, no, I'm making the choice. I'm just not going to do it.
Well, I appreciate that, and I
hope there's a lot of people out there that
yeah.
that do that. I hope, like they say, of like younger people, you know, where they're like, no, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Good on you. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and that you do bring up a good point, because I think it would be cool if you were to, whether it be rock bottom experiences, whether it be, I think what's important is, and I think that every experience matters, because it's going to be different for other people. So whereas, you know, you talked about Steve-O, some other people may not vibe with that, right? They're like, oh, I didn't go that hard, or too crazy, or something like that, right? Whereas others who maybe don't have a rock bottom or something to that effect, if they talk about their story and share their story, then they're like, wait a minute, those 3 things that person just talked about, you know, that happened to me last week. And then they start to think about it, that they wouldn't otherwise. So I think it is important. I think it would be awesome if you did that, whether it be a rock experience, you know what I mean, relationship with alcohol.
What do you want? I mean, what is it going to take for you to quit?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think another thing, it's tough for a lot of people, just like we were talking about at the beginning of the video, where it's sort of like, you know, like say you're a musician. Say you're a musician. You play in bars. Like your life is in these bars. What do you do at a bar? You drink. So say you're like, all right, I can't drink anymore. But you spend all your time in bars. What are you going to do? What can you do? And there's a lot of people that they're self-conscious about, like, you know, what am I going to just stand there with a glass of water in my hand? And I think as more people find out and realize, like, no, you can, here you go. You can have a cocktail. You could have a non-alcoholic beer. And as far as everyone's concerned, it's like, not that anyone's looking or judging. That's the thing. Like, no one, like, there's a lot of people that have problems with their self-consciousness. They're like, well, what am I going to do? You know, I'm not going to, you know, people are going to know that, like, I'm not drinking. But even if, like, just having, like, you know, an NA bottle or something, or a cocktail, people are like, okay, well, it looks like you're drinking. And you are drinking, just there's no alcohol in it.
And it's about, yes, it's self-consciousness, but also it's about feeling included or not being excluded, right? Because some folks, when you go out, I mean, you can have a Coke or a Pepsi or fill in the blank thing at home, right? So it's great to go out to a bar or a place, and they're actually thoughtful about what they're like, what they offer to you. And it's really cool here in the Seattle area. With my videos in July, I'm highlighting some really dope bars around Seattle that have a killer cocktail menu, and they also have a killer NA menu. There are a lot of, and I'm finding out there are a lot of bartenders that are like, whether it be 100% or like exclusively sober, 90%, like they actually don't drink too much. And it's kind of like my friend, my best friend, he owns did own a donut shop down in Puyallup. And you know, being around the donuts, you would think that he would partake or, you know, look more like me rather than he does, because he is one of the skinniest dudes that I know, right? So it's like, how do you do it?
I had a donut shop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fatter than I am now.
That's what I'm saying. Me too. Like when I go down there, I tell myself only one, right? We've heard that before.
One box.
But I guess what I'm getting at is, these cool places, and more places are developing not just juice and calling it this is what they'll give for their non-alcoholic cocktail or mocktail. They're putting together, crafting more complex drinks, and I think that's really exciting because one, it tastes good, but the experience itself, having something that looks great, that smells great, that tastes great, that looks like what other people are having in their cocktail, and then on the feeling of being included, it's just a really great experience. And gone are the days of just having O'Doul's or something like that. Right now we have all these crazy different options.
So 2 questions for you. How did you get involved with Tiki and Dry? Like, because like that, from what you told me, like they gave you like, okay, you can come in here and fill whatever you want. How did you get involved with them? And let's talk about your show. I mean, what is your show? Like, what do you normally do with on your videos?
So how I got in here, first of all, Kirsten, owner, boss lady of Tiki and Dry, extremely kind individual. What happened was I was filmed 2 or 3 videos, one on the Pathfinder, one on Fluair, and then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm highlighting brands or things that are in Kirsten's shop, Tiki and Dry. And I mean, I'm looking at all these brands, and I don't know, a plethora of them, right? So I can only imagine what folks or the average consumer is as they walk in here and they are kind of like overwhelmed. Where do I go, right? And that's what I was trying to solve or answer for in the video. So I said, a long time ago, I don't know how I got the recommendation, but it is one of those books that's really impacted my life, not just in I'm a musician myself. I don't play the cool guitar. I'm a bassoon guy.
Okay.
But
bassoon's cool.
Yeah,
too.
Bassoon is cool. I'll tell you what. But I picked up and read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Right.
It's a great book.
It is.
It's an awesome book.
It is a great book, and there are a few things in there that I picked out that I typically apply, and whether it be in the music space, whether it be in my day-to-day stuff, or the NA space. One thing is, and I'm going to butcher the exact quote, but basically the idea is, to people, their name is the most beautiful sound in that language, right? Yeah. So I always try to remember names. But the other thing that I do is, rather than putting together some sort of ask where it's like me, right? It's you, the person that I'm speaking with, the value for you, the value there. Yeah. So I put together that DM and just DM Cheeky and Dry, and bada bing, bada boom. She said, yes, would love to. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's have you over. And the rest is history. I've been filming here since February, March of this year.
So how many videos? They videos do you have now?
16 is what I'm up to. Nice. And I was on this cadence of once a week, but now that I'm entering the space of what I call invigorating the Seattle market with events and different things like that. Seattle non-alcoholic market. So last night I was up cleaning, but partying until I'd say 11:30, 12 o'clock, and then cleaning for an hour. I had people over to the place, more than 30 folks. We had 8 or 9 different non-alcoholic cocktails or wines or options, and we just we had a great sunset. They were over at like 7 p.m. So it was a sunset viewing. We watched Sleepless in Seattle.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a good time. Had the popcorn, the movie snacks.
Is that what Seattle looked like back then?
Exactly. Oh, I had never seen it before, and so I'm testing it, and I see the opening. Chicago. What the? I thought this was Sleepless in Chicago.
It's not Sleepless in Chicago.
Yeah, what are we doing here? But anyways, so that's how I got plugged in over here. Yeah. And then on the video, or on the videos themselves, they're kind of transforming, but the root of what they are is, hey, here's a brand. Yeah. Here's a drink. Let's try it neat if it's rum. Let's try it neat if it's gin. Let's talk about it. Let's make it into a cocktail. And bada bing, bada boom. Let's also talk about the people behind the brand itself, because I think story is important. And I also think that when we think about non-alcoholic stuff, we may be intimidated because it's like, oh, it's not exactly whiskey. What can I do with it? Yeah. And no, I'm trying to break down that barrier, or break down that it doesn't have to be that intimidating. It doesn't have to be that different. You know this thing, right? Again, life's still a party. You know how to party, right? Now you get to do it 100% you, right? Yeah. And so that's sort of what I focus on the channel. Is it's been mostly on brands, and as in drink brands, but now we're transforming and highlighting, for example, bars in the Seattle area. Yeah. Rumba, right? I mean, Rendezvous, right? When I did drink, Navy Strength was a huge place
down in Belltown.
I love Navy Strength, so hopefully we can get something going on over there. But so using the videos to highlight non-alcoholic brands, drinks, places where you can imbibe and non-alcoholic related stuff, right? With other folks, because we're out there, right? We still want to go to bars, we still want to party, we still want to go to concerts, we still want to have great experience with these things that are in our hand that we're sipping on. And so it's just kind of sharing the good word on what is out there, because there's a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you're doing the Lord's work, as they say, Nick, and I'm really proud of you. And when I saw what you're doing, I'm like, I want to do an episode with him, because I want to promote him and what he's doing, because I think it's very, very important. To show people out there that, you can go out and have a fun time and not have to drink alcohol. And it doesn't have to taste like a Duels. You can drink drinks that taste great. And if anyone wants to watch your videos, what's your channel called? Like, is it just the NA CPA?
Yeah, it's the NA CPA. It all rhymes, and if you can't remember, just non-alcoholic. I'm a CPA by day. Put the in front of it. That's a very important thing, to put the in front of it, and then you'll find me. Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so if you're looking to learn how to make non-alcoholic cocktails, or how to do your taxes,
boom, there you go. Hit me up.
Hey everyone, just want to let you know that if you're interested in getting a straight edge Tiki shirt, you can buy your own over at my website, tikiwithray.com/buy a shirt. They're $20 plus $8 shipping.